This weapon is called the Jo, and it is 1 meter 30 centimeters tall. The origin of the weapon was made for sword defense. From now on, I'm going to explain the strong and weak points of the Jo compared to the saber. The Jo can be held from any point. From this point to that one. The Jo is longer than the saber. We can reach our adversary like this. This is a strong point and good. Now I'll explain the weak points of the Jo. This part of the saber is called Suba, and it's used to defend any attack. The Jo doesn't have a Suba. If someone attacks us like this, with the saber, we can let it slide over the Jo. If we do that, we will be without a finger. In such a case, we should do like this. The Jo is made of wood and it's easy to cut. The defense is done this way. Defending ourselves with the saber, we should get the saber with the Jo by the upper part of the saber, where there isn't any blade. This is an error. If we do this, the saber cuts the Jo going through and cutting us. We have to do like this. We have to get to the other side of the blade. This is also incorrect. When doing defense, we should always be careful to always get the upper part of the saber. The blade part is prohibited. Basically, these are the strong and weak points of the Jo. These are the three basic movements, very important for training. When we understand these three technical principles, it will be easier for us to understand the rest of the Joe exercises. From this moment on, I'm going to show you these three techniques combined. The exercise that you do from behind the back is done like this. Normally, when we practice using the Joe, first we get shodan, that part, stomach level. But in real combat, we should get to any part. Jodan, shodan, gedan. Normally with these techniques, we all get to the Jodan level. But in real combat, we also do it on different levels. We can also do the exercise walking. We can choose to sit. I recommend practicing any of the exercise in different positions: seated, standing, and walking. This is the second jaw exercise. We should also do this exercise walking on the floor. We should also do this exercise sitting and walking on the floor. Normally, when we train, we attack the head, both sides of the temple. But in real situation, any part of the body serves as a target. We can also do this without stopping the movement. We should also practice these exercises much faster. You shouldn't jump when you do these exercises, but yes, slide with your feet on the floor. We should use our hip gently and rapidly. That's all for now. Thank you. From this point on, I'm going to explain two more forms of different exercises. The first one is called Jojutsu. We attack from 4 directions. This is similar to the saber exercise, shiokiri. We can continue with a total of 8 attacks. From the 5th attack, we can choose to continue towards any side. The beginners should make these movements long and not short, so that they can slide their hands on the jaw and feel it. Little by little, we should execute the movements faster and shorter. Anyway, we should always slide our hands on the jaw. This is incorrect. Only hold it and balance it with your hand. The second technique is called Shimo Sampo. We should get to these 3 points. The main point to reach is this. The first movement is done like this. The hip movement is very important.
動きも大切ですね。特に2から3、2、3。こんな感じですね。牙立ちにいってます。まあ、
We shouldn't jump, it's not good.
ダメですよ。飛んじゃダメですよ。飛んじゃダメです。
We should slide our feet gently. Shojuki should be executed with our feet, just like Shimo Sampo. Not jumping, but slide gently. There are some Aikido groups that do this way. But in my opinion, I don't feel comfortable doing it like this. We should slide our feet gently. This exercise is also very important. Therefore, it should be worked on a lot. I'm going to execute the last Joe exercise, which requires a little more training. I attack like this, but the adversary escapes. We follow the adversary and attack again. The important point is, don't stop. We shouldn't stop. We should do the two attacks one after another without stopping. We should practice this movement, reaching out as far as possible, widening the steps. You don't jump in this movement. We have to slide, not jump. We can practice it in a sitting position, walking, and then squatting. We should practice the exercise on the right side and on the left side. When the space is small, we can do it like this. No jumping. That's all for now, thanks.
それでは情の持つ、特色として特に
I'm going to begin explaining and demonstrating some extending and stretching using the jaw.
説明します。これも別にただ情の型を練習
These movements should be done gently and stretching out as much as possible.
やればいいだけですね。例えば
For example, we can do like this.
基本の
We should open the chest.
この方もゆっくりと大きくこういう感じですね。ここを開く感じで。ここもいいですね。伸ばしますね。これにしてこの方も
All the movements should be open and long.
大きくここ伸ばしますね。この部分を伸ばす感じでこの辺も伸ばす感じでやるんですね。四方突きも大きく
When we choose an exercise, it also depends on how we feel.
まあ自由に好きなようにやればいいですね。大きくゆっくり
Whatever position we choose will be good. Seated, standing. You can also touch the floor with the jaw, lengthening the sword.
伸ばす。ここはどうですね。まあほとんどこれ体操ですな。
Step by step, we can do the movement a little faster, also varying them.
徐々に速くして。まあどうとでもできますね。
Lots of times these exercises are similar to those of Tai Chi.
タイシーと同じですね。タイシーと一緒ですね。
In this movement, the jaw is a great help to do the extending part of this activity.
助けてくれます。上がストレッチを助けてくれます。
In Tai Chi, we don't use the jaw. That's why the exercise is more limited.
ここまでいきますけども、
With the jaw, we can do the exercise lengthening more.
さらに伸びます。気持ちいいです。こうやって上が助けてくれるんですね。だからまあすごくいいです。この辺もね。
We should use the hips and knees gently. The breathing in and exhaling is very important. The breathing in and out should be strong.
これにまあ
You decide on the length of the time for these exercises. We can do them for a long or short time, but the longer we do them, the better. I recommend these exercises for everyone, and if possible, when training at home. Thanks very much. From here, I'm going to explain some practical techniques. Lots of times in the Joe technique, we use fakes. Right, left, up, down. For example, in this case, we do this using a fake technique. In this position, we do like this. With this technique, we can also use a fake. We attack and we reach out in the second attack. This is a Joe fake technique. With this movement, we fake with the right arm and reach on the left side. With this movement, we fake an attack from up here and we attack from down here. We fake this movement so that the adversary tries to trap the Joe, and then we attack from the other side. In this technique, first we fake and then next we attack. We can do two fakes, the first, the second, and then we do the third movement attacking. We can also do it the following way. These that I have demonstrated are some of the techniques with fake. Now I'm going to explain how we can get loose of an opponent if he tries to grab the Joe. In this situation, when the adversary grabs the Joe, we have to verify, check which point in which direction is the most vulnerable to get free and throw down our opponent. If we push the Joe forward, it's difficult. If we turn the Joe, it's easier. Now we'll do it this way. We should always find a weak point, an easy direction to throw.
もちろん、
We can change hand to any point of the jaw. We should be careful with the opponent when you open your hand to change the position of the jaw, because we could be attacked in any moment.
注意して話す。
We should pay attention to this position because we could be attacked by our adversary. We should slide our hands rapidly, then throw it if we want. We can also attack the head. We should always pay attention to any attack of the adversary. In the moment he attacks, we deflect and then throw the opponent.
いつもチェックしてるように。
In this situation, we can do the technique this way.
投げちゃっていいです。
If we try to push, it's difficult.
この方向は強いけど、割と
But if we turn the jaw, it's easier to move it and throw down.
この方向です。だからチェックしながらこっちに持っていく。
From this position,
でここで
we change our hand rapidly to be in a better position
ここで
and continue. Turn the jaw rapidly. In this case, if we don't try, he will throw us down and push us down. Next, when the adversary tries to push us, we take advantage of his force,
利用しながら、
change our hands rapidly,
はい、こちら
then throw him.
まずいですね。力は五分と五分ですから。なってますから。こっちもよ。
In order to take advantage of it, we have to pay attention to our adversary's movement.
引っ張るだけでもいいです。
As he moves, we should connect his movements with ours so we can take advantage of them. We must always remember that the adversary is a being that thinks, and as such, we should just use one technique, not a lot of them.
この場合だと、こうですね。
If the opponent is very big and strong, we don't get to turn the jaw or move it in other directions.
でもできない。この場合は、この場合は
In this case, we should let go of the jaw and attack another way.
もうこの
just like this. We shouldn't always insist on drawing and pushing with the jo. In certain circumstances, we should strike to the face or punch him. Every time I take my hand off the jo, I have to be attentive because the opponent can get to my ribs. All the time, we should protect ourselves from any attack by the opponent. We'll do like this. Anyway, I have to do the attack techniques all together at one time. There shouldn't be any pauses in the movement. We should be aware of attacks coming from him. We shouldn't insist on taking away the jo from his hands. This is one of the important situations to keep in mind. It is not only to grab and take away the jo from him, but indeed also to let go of it so that you can attack with your free hands. In the type of practice I do, we don't have katas as in karate or kung fu. For example, normally the position used in kung fu are like this. And in karate, like this. Since we don't have any kata in our system, every time we do a demonstration, the combinations are always different. Sometimes we do them like this. Other times we do them like this. Always different, depending on the situation. Sometimes we should train doing what boxers do when they do shadow boxing. Imagine always having someone in front of us. Imagine the adversary attacking, then shifting away, doing the first attack, followed by the second attack with kime. Let's imagine an attack from the right side. Next, I do a defense, followed by an attack.
前から来たから打った、倒して決めた。
I continue. I attack backwards.
打った。自由です。
We can imagine like this and select any exercise. We can also execute the movement at the pace we want.
1時間でもいいし、
A minute, an hour. If we do movements that are more complicated, we should train using less time. A few minutes is good.
1分が限度ですね。少ないに動く。いいですね。
We can also practice squatting
ここから座ってもいいですね。
and walk in squatting.
あと座ってもいいです。自由です。自由です。まあ、型についてはこんなもんですね。特に
We should do them freely, whatever combination we want. Thanks very much.
作ってください。
From this moment, I am going to explain some special techniques without using the Jo, but using Jo techniques. In ancient times, the samurais always used to carry a weapon. They didn't know anything about karate and taekwondo, but they were successful at fighting without weapons. Why? Because the saber and the Jo were like their training partner or companion, and that is, they studied them.
例えばこの技ですね。例えばこの技。
What this means, the Jo is as if it were an arm of the opponent. For me, it's as if his arm was a Jo. His arm is as if it were a Jo. That's why when it's thrown, I do it like this. We can also do it this way.
これを、パンチにすると全く一緒ですね。今です、パンチですね。まあ、もうちょっと、合気道、古武術風にやるとしたら、このまま、こうですね。ハッピード。
If the adversary is faster and stronger, we do it this way. If he's slow, we don't do a rapid attack. We can hold his arm. But if he punches quickly and pulls back rapidly, then it's difficult to grab it. In any case, if I want to throw an adversary, I do like this. It's difficult to grab the first attack because it's very fast. But we can decide to do the following two techniques, for example. I feel more comfortable with the second one. Let's take, for example, we can adapt this Jo technique to combat without weapon.
まま受けて投げる。それこそ状況によっては、はい、もう一個です。まあ、パンチ。
We can imagine our arm being a Joe and the body as if it were another Joe.
2つ状ですね。これも状。大きな状です。状グランデですね。状ペケンは。状ペケン。これも状。これも状。だから、そのね、この応用としておった。
As before, we can imagine the two Joes in the adversary by focusing on the body, considering it as the main Joe to throw him down.
まあ、ここから、なんとでも、今だと、こうなってなりますけどね。
For me, his body is a Joe.
全部、情だとイメージする。全部情です。これ情だとイメージしますね。これも情。実情。これも情です。ここだけでもいいですね。これも。
In this case, we should be careful with the adversary's elbow. We should do the technique rapidly. One of our options would be to select the technique that we are most comfortable with, depending on the situation. We can use any part of the body. We should also be aware of the distance. This is important when doing any technique. We can also grab the opponent's hand and shoulder and immediately attack. Anyway, we should always imagine his body as if it were a Joe. Just as in the Joe, in the saber technique, we have to imagine someone as our opponent. Once again, as in the Joe, we can imagine the adversary's arm as if it were a saber. In this case, we can imagine his leg as a saber. Anyway, when we only practice the Joe, we can also fight without it because the Joe is a help so we can fight.
知らずのうちに情がなくても自然に動くようになります。
We have to imagine our arm as a jaw.
この辺を情だとイマジネーションしてもいいんですね。この辺を情だと、情だとね、思ったんです。これが情だとしてパンチ、情で受けた。
Exactly as we've said before, this movement, for example, has the same meaning.
で、情で受けて、パンと打った。
Whether we do it with the jaw or not.
情で受けて打った。で、
The movements of the jaw are rapid. That's why also without it, we still have to do them rapidly.
体重の上としたら。
Just as we've said before, the technique should be practiced rapidly. In the lance technique, the force is very important. The jaw technique is rapid and the lance technique is strong. I should only do one attack to throw him down, like this. I'm going to explain some leg techniques. Just as in the lance technique, we should also execute strong kicks, like this. In the jaw technique, we can also use the legs rapidly to help us to attack and defend. We can also do these techniques by grabbing the adversary's legs with ours and throw him to the floor. We can also defend with the foot and counter-attack after. We can do a fake technique. There are lots of leg techniques when practicing Joe, which strengthens them. They use the legs a lot to slide on the floor. Just as a kick is strong, the lance technique is also done with the same objective, strong and powerful. Anyway, the individual training with the Joe is important. Therefore, I hope you practice the Joe with us.